This is the demo work at the railing post. You can see that all the spalled concrete and where the concrete was removed was from a previous patch, and that the rebar is quite corroded and rusted, and there's some rusting marks still in the concrete which will have to be raked out. Steel pins which were epoxied in are from a previous repair, and a lot of the aggregate that is in the previous patch is still quite rounded, it hasn't been broken off. You can see that there is a crack which corresponds from the underside of the ceiling of the unit below and up to the concrete post, and it actually continues on in on the floor. It's another rebar here that is still quite close to the surface, and a second rebar here. Again, this is another previous repair patch with the stainless steel pins, and we still have a slight crack in the concrete from the top of the curb which runs down still in the concrete. Again, this is another previously repaired concrete patch that has failed and had to be raked out. This is at the divider panel between the two units. This is the railing post. Again, you can see the dark grey of the previous patching material which had to be stripped away, and the previous stainless steel pins epoxied into the concrete. This is the underside of the ceiling of the balcony enclosure. You can see here that there is a crack on the underside of the slab which continues past in where the enclosure was and continues in towards the apartment. Here we have a second crack appearing on the underside of the slab from the exterior face, which continues in through to the inside of where the enclosure was. We have a staggered vertical crack in the brick ending up through here, and it continues down through the courses of the mortar. We also have another start of a vertical crack from the mortar through the brick and down a few courses. There's a horizontal crack in the mortar extending from the exterior face of the building in towards the exterior face of the apartment. So here we have the drain in the slab, and it is actually clogged up. It looks like quite clogged on the inside, and this drain is shared between this unit and the next unit. There are various cracks in the floor which are evenly spaced approximately 30 inches apart. And we have an additional shorter crack which only extends about 2 foot at an angle into the slab. This crack extends nearly to the curb and takes up again on the curb. That crack then extends on top of the curb and down into where the concrete previous patch has been taken out and removed. This is a fourth crack in the slab between the two windows, and another crack that is centered on the door. This is a railing post which was previously repaired and the patching had failed, and onto the other side of the curb there's large spalls of concrete which will have to be removed. Cracks in mortar and brick and in concrete would not have been visible if the enclosure was not removed. Crack on the underside of the slab continues to the exterior to a newly patched area, and also continues onto the curb of the unit above. This crack on the curb continues onto the floor of the apartment above, which has already been repaired. Another crack on the 9th floor unit above. The crack on the floor continues to the curb. This crack continues to an area on the fascia which has already been patched and repaired, and is visible on the underside of the slab. This is a previous patch repair, which is all scalling in the slab of the balcony. The area of previous patch just lifting up, and corroded rebar into the patch, the previous patchwork. The corroded rebar. Previous patchwork is very soft, almost like sand, and you can see that the previous patch did not go under the rebar, it just went around the rebar. So 4 plugs have been found on the existing drain pipe, 4 caps.
5.
Got another one?
You got one here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
5 caps.
Huh? Yes. Yeah, see? It's like they just put a plug in there. Maybe to try to snake this out sometime?
Yeah. The drain is corroded and is full of sand. When the cap was opened, the drain is full of sand, so it will have to be replaced. Area of previous patch has spalled and cracked and easily comes away with the hammer. So previous patching material, it's just sand. It just comes away as sand.
And it's a chunk. And you just
crack on floor extends from exterior wall of apartment all the way to the demoed curb. Existing flooring was removed. We had tiles which were grouted to the concrete deck, and then we had a plywood floor fixed on 2 2x4s with a wooden floor fixed atop, which meant that this floor drain was not accessible. Line of crack is still visible after cutting out approximately 1.5 inches into the depth of the slab.